Did anybody really believe we were all going to do less work?
He delegated something super important that he himself has no subject matter expertise in.
That is a task I would have never been able to do on my own.
Like, that is way more high, energy for my brain. So I do feel more tired at the end of the day.
Their AI models deliberately lie to users.
Deliberately lie.
That's scary. An
Right.
ERP system being replaced.
Right. Knowing the customer's context helps you be a good developer, a good engineer.
Yeah. Welcome to episode 13 of AI Unplugged. I'm Travis Rail, and I'm joined today with Kate Miller. Hi, Kate.
Hi.
Evan Zemus.
Hello.
And Jeffrey M. Valentine.
Hello, Travis.
How are you doing?
I'm wonderful today.
Great. Hi, guys. Welcome to the first time, Kate.
Thanks.
We've got an interesting set of topics today we're going to cover and hopefully intrigue on some maybe a little bit less technical, more process, more business side of the equation.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
I think you guys talked a little bit about last week or last month, a little bit about, you mentioned that agents are limiting jobs. You said maybe up to 45%. Some of the things that I was thinking about was just the productivity paradox. If the agents are replacing a lot of the day-to-day tasks, you get more, the employees get more tasks and thus still get burnt out. So even though that, the agents are doing a lot of what their day-to-day looks like, is there still the fear or the element that people are getting burnt out because they're using more brain power and maybe less like tactical stuff? So I thought that would be a good topic just to see everyone's thoughts, because that's what it made me think about.
I think it's easy to say agents and AI will save time, but I think the reality is people aren't working less for it. So are you really saving time, or are you just getting more, doing more, right? Is it doing more for you in some capacity? And if it's doing more for you and you're really good at it, who's to say you won't get more work as a good job?
Did anybody really believe we were all going to do less work just because AI is helping us?
I was totally in that camp. I was prepared to live on the beach.
4-day work weeks.
Yeah. I was like, my agents go do things.
I'm not
They have
sure
a
that's a
mojito.
So what about in your role, Kate? I mean, so you run finance here. So tell me about how you're using AI, and is it actually causing less work for you overall? What's that doing?
I always tell my team and everybody, I try to automate myself out of a job because it will never happen.
It's not working. Yeah.
So yeah, it'll never work. I know this already, but what I like to do is become more efficient in my role, and I task my team with doing the same thing using AI. I have some pretty good use cases just from the past week, actually. But to the point of, are we going to rely on AI and then get more work and still get burnt out? I don't think so, but I think that's a conscious choice for each person to set that boundary as well. Yeah. For example, I did a heavy margin analysis past 16 months, and then I used Claude in Excel, had it forecast forward the next 12 months. That is a task I would have never been able to do on my own without the use of AI. And it took me 5 to 10 minutes to prompt Claude, get it run through, maybe another 10 minutes to do a quality check, spot check some of the big ones. And then it allowed me to just free up my brain power and actually think strategy, analyze the margins by hand. But it did all of that manual data entry for me, that would have taken days.
But who would have done that for you before?
It probably would have been a little bit of me, a couple days, thrown it over to another member of my team to help because I ran out of time and had to move to other things. Maybe threw Eli in the mix to help with some stuff. But overall, I could do it. I could own it. I could set the groundwork in a matter of 10 to 20 minutes rather than literal days or weeks.
Do you feel like you're going to burn out because of it, though? Because to Evan's point, now you're doing something else with that time, and it's probably even a higher brain function than it would have been just, working through an Excel formula.
True, but I think what burns me out personally is that data entry manual work, because that would have taken, like I said, days or weeks. I would have been so burnt out at the end of that, I wouldn't have even had the brain power to think about strategy.
So you brought up a point earlier about the density.
Yes.
So maybe it's different for you versus Kate because you're more high functioning all the time versus...
She's pretty high functioning. I think I hear what you're saying. What I'm doing every single day now is there's no more of the downtime for me of the rote work. The AI is like, I think, analyzing a legal contract for me right now, and I'm going to come back and it's going to be done. For me to go through and manually read the legal would have been like relaxing. I could understand that. Like, I know for me that's a little
Relaxing legal time.
I
but
get it,
instead
yeah.
analyzing its output and finding the errors and fixing it, like that is way more high like energy for my brain. So I do feel more tired
Do
at the end of the
you
day.
read
I-
contracts by the fire?
Not by the fire.
With
Not
a
by the
glass
fire.
of
With a
wine.
glass of wine, right? Little like
A little bedtime reading, perhaps.
little smoke pipe.
Okay, thanks, Sam.
Yeah, I don't know if there's different roles that may feel that way. That was something that I read, right? Is sometimes these agents are taking a lot of the work
Yeah.
away, but it adds more work. So do you still get to the same outcome from an individual or an employee?
I'll tell you, I think my context switching has gone way up, and that's stressful for me.
Right.
Where I'll have like 4 or 5 different agents either coding for me or doing something for me, and I'm having a spot check across different like coding branches or something like that, right? And remember like, oh, this use case was this, or we're doing this for this other client over here, and just trying to like remember, because I can do so many things in parallel now. That has causing, I guess, some level of burnout. Like I go home like, oh man, I had a rough day of just typing. Please go do a thing. But then remembering what am I doing and for whom and why it matters, like that takes up energy. But I got 5 things done at once.
Yeah, but no sympathy from your wife.
Nope.
What about, I guess, just to segue into like agents in general? I know
Yeah.
with Darcy, our product, recently, I think you created or released agents that's helping us do fun things and productive things. So it's going from maybe being a toy in the past to our teammate, right? Like, so I guess, can you just talk a little bit maybe about the sophistication that the agents bring,
Sure.
being more agentic?
Yeah, so just to be fair, we've had agents for a while, but one of the things we added was the ability to schedule agents and have agents do things on like an event or a trigger. Like when something happens, have an agent go do work for you. So like an example I have is when we get customer support tickets for Darcy, we use Pylon. It's a support portal system. We have an agent every night at like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. It kicks off and it looks at all the support requests that came in, all the customers, all the things they asked. It looks at our knowledge base to say, hey, when we answered them, did we answer with all the information they could get? And if it finds there's gaps in the knowledge base, it then actually opens up our code base, finds the features related to that particular request, and then writes a whole new knowledge base article so that I could better answer that customer's question in the future. And then lastly, pings the internal staff as to, hey, this person had a problem. I know we're misinformation. Here's the thing. That I had my last company, we had a team of 3 people who just did that for a living. I automated that in like an hour. It runs every single night, and then I get a nice email in the morning from my agent. Here's all the things that I did for you, right? But like that's 3 headcount
Right.
that we used to have at a different company.
I bet those people are still employed.
Yeah, they're doing different things.
They're doing different things.
Yeah. One's a designer now. One does like creative writing,
Yeah.
like for like publishers and so forth, instead of like documentation and system level stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Knowledge work is changing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know the other thing I'm noticing right now is, and I was on this this forum, and these business leaders are talking about how they're using AI, and I was shocked at some of the suggestions they came up with. These are fairly smart, like successful executives at larger companies. One of them said, for example, he did this thing with vibe coding, and he's like, I think I can get rid of my ERP system. And so I think I said, I'm going to cancel my HubSpot contract, and now I'm going to use this instead. I'm like, wait a second, this is crazy to me. I don't think that people have yet run into how sloppy some of that implementation will be. So I'm calling this app slop, right? Where you think you can create an app, but does it have the right security constraints, or can it scale, or does it have the edge case? And by the way, if it depends on integration with another system, and that API changes and your thing breaks, who's going to fix it?
Or if it's an ERP or like some customer like CRM or something, to be like, could you expose customer data by accident?
Non-professional engineers understand these cases and they code around it, and they can even prompt a vibe coding tool to help code around it.
Right.
But a non-professional engineer writing an ERP system scares the crap out of me. It feels like they don't understand how bad it could be.
When you hired somebody in finance who didn't have a finance background and just asked Claude, hey Claude, can you make a forecast for me? That looks good.
How about a P&L?
Oh,
And we,
it
like,
can do
did
scary,
all of our
terrible
budgeting.
things. Yeah. Here's the forecast. If you don't look at it,
Yeah.
you need to know what the output should look like. It can help you build the shell. It can put some data in there, but That's scary. An
Right.
ERP system being replaced.
Right.
That'd be like me being like, oh, I can create an accounting system
Totally.
with AI.
And you probably
I could try, but
and it would
wouldn't be
work
good.
for a few days, maybe a week.
My
Maybe.
favorite from this weekend, I saw some CEO of some company like Japan use ChatGPT, fired his legal team, used ChatGPT to look at a legal thing, and then tried to propose it, and he lost. He lost in court like almost immediately, and he owes like $250 million now. But
my gosh.
he delegated something super important that he himself has no subject matter expertise in to know like what's right or wrong.
Which is maybe that's the special skill of software engineers, and always has been, and that's why they will always persist. You do become an expert in somebody else's business process, and knowing the customer's context helps you be a good developer, a good engineer.
Yeah.
I don't think non-engineers are going to replace that. I think engineers will change how they work with AI, but I'm not sure we're going to get rid of engineers for that exact reason.
I wonder, do you think we'll get rid of business people?
Like which ones?
Let me describe
Like me?
No, like a business strategist or product person or someone less like numerically oriented, where things have to be a very particular way or they're wrong, right? Like you can make decisions and two-way door type of decisions. I ask because in the world of LLMs and so forth, there's evaluations, evals, where they can tell you like what's good and what's bad and how well they perform. There's a really funny eval. There's a couple of really funny ones. One is around how well can it play a game of Pokemon, and like can it beat Pokemon faster or slower. But there's another one that's business oriented, and they give Claude or whatever LM a vending machine, and its job is to make money. And it's got to know what it has to order, the volume it has to order at, what vendors to order
I've
from,
heard
what
this one.
margins it has to order.
Terrible idea.
And it's failed and failed and failed until last month, and actually started generating its first set of profit. Different model, different configuration.
Is this the same thing that decided to sell drugs?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
okay.
They've been. It's called the vending machine eval now,
Yeah.
right? Or vending eval or something like that. And so now they're using it as a way to prove, does the LM understand business metrics and when to buy and sell things and how to sort of like, which vendors, what margin is good.
That's interesting. I mean, to be fair, that's like kindergarten business school. That's not
Vending
real.
machines, man.
Yeah. Okay.
What
I'm
changed
serious.
though? Like you said, this is the
The
first
model's
month,
getting better.
so just it's learning,
Yeah.
and now it's
And I think the systems,
It's learning, but to the point of being a kindergartner. That's not that complicated.
my 5-year-old could not manage a vending machine.
Okay, well, a first-year MBA student. I'm saying it's not like that super exciting. What would be super exciting is if I could have an AI sell a customer, so we don't need salespeople.
Right.
That won't happen. At least in my lifetime, I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's other business roles that today are critical to the business function that aren't just, I can go plug an answer in and get a strategy document out of it.
Yeah.
It's just not how business is done.
outbound calling. I mean, you're seeing, AI take on some prospecting. You don't do it, but
and ours are better. Like we hire humans for a reason.
humans, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm just saying like it's taken over that role in some capacity, and some are hard to really see if it's a real human or not. You don't catch on right away. It takes maybe a few different back and forth before you're like, all right, this isn't real. And you
Right.
ask them, and
Like, I'm totally real.
yeah, I'm totally real. You're wrong.
My name is Jane.
Yeah,
It's like one of those.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the whole I think AI game is evolving. I thought a little bit about just the video games and what the parallel
those.
is to video games. I mean, you brought up Pokemon.
Yeah.
But there's these just different waves, and I'm just trying to compare. Maybe when will we look back and be like, man, Claude was Atari or Coleco,
Right.
But like, I guess I would love your perspective too. Like, where do you see the phase, in your opinion, to the parallel? Whether there was, Atari, Coleco, the Nintendo and Sega Genesis and Super
Right.
Nintendo and PlayStation 1 through 9 or whatever many there are today. But like, what do you think that timeline looks like?
I think there's almost Moore's law, scaling law factors to this. So, for example, I am a gamer.
What?
Are you a gamer? Do you game?
I
time to
mean, I
time?
was like
You dabble.
Donkey Kong Racing.
Okay,
That's
alright.
my level.
That kind of counts.
Travis looks down on
I tried
consoles.
Call
He's
of
more
Duty
of a
once.
PC gamer.
It was
Just
very
one time.
difficult.
All
He
right.
has
Sorry.
keyboards in front of him.
Understood.
Actions permitted for Travis.
I'm a big APM guy. Anyway, what's interesting to me is if you look at like PlayStation or Xbox or any of those consoles, like they're all relatively plateauing to the point where they're now starting to share games across each other to try to like figure who's got the better like feature set of software,
Graphics.
less so about the hardware now and
Yeah.
so forth, right? And I think that's starting to happen a bit in the LLM space. So there's this great graphic, I can try to find it, that shows like all these different vendors like Anthropic and OpenAI and so forth on an x-axis. And it shows when they first launched their first model, x-axis is time. And it shows over time, each model that they release is on the y-axis and how smart it gets. And you see it, everybody's really spread out in the first year or two, right? Everybody's got different degrees of how good they are. And then the last year, they've all nearly converged. Like they're all within 10 to 15 points of each other now, from open source vendors to closed source vendors, right? So you ask like, what's changing in the market? How is it applying to like games and so forth in terms of like its knowledge set?
Yeah.
I think it's becoming more commoditized. And what's more important now is what we would call the harness, or rather like how you surround that AI so it can go do things. Like the number one integration point that sucks right now is integrations. Like that's hard. Integrations are hard.
And the most
for AI.
valuable.
Yeah, you pair that with security, and like that's one of the biggest blockers to a lot of companies adopting this stuff, right?
Yeah, the LLM is not the most critical thing anymore.
Yeah, I could drop in OpenAI or Claude or Kimi K2 or whatever, right? And they'll all perform to various degrees of good, but they'll do it.
But to be fair, imagine back in the browser war days, or maybe even less search engines. Remember, I bet we could find the first Gartner Magic Quadrant on like where Ask Jeeves was in
That's
the
was
upper
Ask
right.
Jeeves.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like some
Yeah.
really
MapQuest.
It was super like impressive at the time, and at the time they thought they were all converging too.
Right.
But what actually happened was there was more to search than search.
Right.
And that continued to grow, and Google differentiated itself in so many other ways. I wonder if you'll see the same thing among these today LLM vendors as they expand as Google did beyond their original first product. And perhaps that's, I mean, you were talking about Claude and Excel.
Yeah.
And that plugin being, that's more people are going to experience Claude that way than they will on their phones as a chatbot
Right. Or even like Copilot.
or even Copilot. That's a great example. It's the new Clippy. Someday we're going to be making fun of Copilot like we make fun of Clippy.
Yeah, and that day's tomorrow.
There was just huge jumps, though. I feel like from like Atari in the 70s to, Nintendo 64, where you didn't have to go left to right anymore. You could go,
I feel like that's
Mario
happened though. I
64.
think the jumping has
So
happened.
there, now it's just going to be like little
I
incremental.
think it's incremental. Like
Until it's not, until it's a leap.
until some big breakthrough, which I can't foresee, right? But like, yeah, of course. But I think right now, until either a new scaling law is defined or a new way to train is defined, like they are. I think what's happening is they're not getting smarter; they're getting more efficient for the same level of intelligence.
Well, it's a great point. So we were just having this discussion about how much we're spending on developer AI tool usage.
Yeah.
So like Cursor, for example, it would have been unthinkable a year ago to spend thousands per month on a developer usage of Cursor. And today we're actually considering it. Like we're
Yeah.
thinking like developers are that much more productive. So
Right.
why wouldn't we spend that money? When that number goes from $2,000 a month per developer to $1,000 to $200
Right.
to 10, now I think that level of commoditization could drive enough profit motivated self-interest in these companies to go invent new things.
Yeah.
And at that point, yes, that's the leapfrog that I'm expecting will happen.
Yeah, but I do think that's happening now. Like a good example is we like to use Kimi K 2.5, which is a particular type of model. It is, this is a technical, it's $3 per million tokens in, but every 700,000-ish words you put into the thing, it costs us $3. Okay. Claude Sonnet is like $15,
Oh.
but they're within 10 to 15% of as good.
Right.
So like, I did an experiment where
You
I
swapped
had
it out and
I
didn't
swapped
tell
it out,
anybody?
didn't tell anybody.
And
No
what
one
happened?
noticed.
No one noticed.
No one noticed that dropped our cost 80%.
Wow.
Yeah, so
But
that's
like that's what I mean.
commoditization of the
Yeah.
of the commodity, which is the LLM itself.
Exactly.
So I wonder what the next thing will be then.
Yeah.
For these vendors.
Right.
Right.
I don't know.
You talked about costs, right? I think one of the other things that I brought up to Jeff earlier was just like energy costs, because there's a lot more AI and servers and how it's impacting the consumer at home with RG&E, and like with more and more servers
Oh, yeah.
supporting this, like what are we going to see? I mean, I had someone knock on my door that wants to sell me solar now because there's an initiative from New York State to get 70% by the end of next year or
Would
something.
buy
like
that, by the way. Send them my way.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
should do that.
He's sending me the contact also.
Yeah.
Really?
Do you know
Yeah,
my electric bill? My electric.
It's gone up a lot.
It's because he says it because a lot of the servers, like they have to build more, it's consuming a lot more energy, which
Yeah.
is driving up the cost.
So Evan knows the answer, so I just need to ask you two. What do you
Okay.
think my electric bill was last month? And just
$600.
keep in mind, I don't have gas on the street.
$600.
I have had people recently, thankfully I'm not a victim of this, but like $2,000 has been their bill.
What?
I was $900 last month. It's crazy for only electric. And for me,
Wow.
the reason why, of course, we all
That's
ask,
crazy.
and I live in Fairport, which has this municipal electric
Yeah,
field.
they have good
Yeah.
electric.
They get a certain amount for the community of cheap hydro. Once it's used up, they have to buy from the grid.
Oh.
That's why it got really expensive.
Oh.
And that buying from the grid, now everybody's buying from the grid because somebody else is using all the power. Maybe electric cars, maybe my heated sidewalk. I don't know, but something is driving up the electric demand, so I'm spending $900 a month.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
I've heard the water bottle thing. What is that?
What-
Like people
what
are
do you mean?
comparing, you use so much AI, now you've wasted 2 water bottles worth of
Every
water.
time you
What is that? Yeah,
You
like
use
you
a-
generated an AI picture around Christmas. It was, everyone put me in silver pajamas. Everybody on Facebook had these pictures. I'm like,
a lot
this
of water
is
bottles.
so weird. And they're like, that's 2 water bottles worth of fresh water. I was
You know,
like, oh,
I hear
I didn't
school
know
kids
that.
talking about it though. I think
Yeah.
that's like a meme or something.
No, it's when
Is
a
that real?
data center.
Yeah.
When it takes in
Like
the
to
the
cool the data
chips.
centers.
Now, in fairness, what they don't say is it evaporates, and they usually collect and they recycle it, but there is a degree of loss.
Well, just to be clear, the amount of water molecules on this earth is not, it's not leaving the atmosphere.
Right.
It's going to precipitate again. It's going to go back in the water table. It's not actually
Yeah.
leaving.
Yeah.
I think we might have killed a few whales or something, right? So people
Okay.
are talking about
Were they
other
alive?
things. No, I mean,
Just in
the
general.
ocean's
Silver
warming,
pajama
there's all
pictures.
sorts of things
Christmas
that were.
picture.
I mean, you're not supposed to say please to an LLM.
What?
Yeah,
I'm
because
always
it
like,
uses
can you
extra cycles.
please? Oh no.
Should
Yeah.
still do it just in case you know.
Yeah.
Well, I've watched Westworld. Okay,
Yeah,
so
there you go.
Do you charge your plane at home by any chance?
What?
Do you charge your plane at home?
No,
Is that
I
drives up
don't,
there?
I don't even
Wait,
know
is
what
it
that
electric?
means. No, it is not.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I was
Very
like, that'd be
dinosaur
cool.
fueled.
Dinosaur fueled.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, today though, like, I get that the data centers are costing us more money.
Yeah.
But, like, my wife has a gas car, and like, I laughed at her the other night because I have electric.
Right.
And she just, I'll take the cheaper electric, even if it's more expensive.
Yeah.
You'll take the cheaper if it's more expensive.
It's more expensive now than it was before.
Oh, sure. Yeah. But it's still
But it's still cheaper than gas. for now.
especially now. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm
So, all
with
right.
you.
I guess that's what it is
Yeah.
until it's not.
Yeah.
But they've said, I mean, the guy that came to me to try to sell me the solar panels, he was saying that, the energy costs, they're going up more than 100% a year, and it's going to continue to go up that way.
Solar.
Good,
So yeah,
it's a good sales pitch.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
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 So
I'm gonna sign
Should
up.
you get him in here?
it's just interesting. Yeah. I gave Jeff his information. I'll pass it
Yeah,
along
yeah.
to you guys
Yeah.
too.
I would actually do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Very cool.
I know
Or
a lot of people
geothermal,
with
sorry.
solar panels.
Yeah. Okay,
In their
off topic
yards.
now.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
did we go?
Energy usage.
I did want to bring up a topic for Andrew because he's not here today. But he, he saw something on X that OpenAI just admitted their AI models deliberately lie to users.
Deliberately lie.
That's
Did you see that?
scary.
No, but I'm not surprised.
Why would they deliberately lie?
Maybe they don't know any.
They're trained.
They're trained to lie for what purpose?
Okay, so in reinforced learning, where the model, a model gives you an output, you like the output. He's like, yes, please, right? And you label it as yes. The next time the model's trained and knows that's a good answer, right? But if the model is outputting information that it's lying, but you can't tell it's a lie, so
It still
you
wants to
accept
please-
it,
it
it
wants
still
to
wants
please
to
you.
please you, you're more likely to say yes to it. And so like what ends up happening is there's a combination of both like fact checking as well as is it a good quality output, right?
The concept of it deliberately lying implies that it knows the truth. And if it knows the truth,
I don't think it knows the truth.
it can't know the truth. So
Right.
what does it mean to deliberately lie then?
I think the word deliberate's a little bit of a stretch here,
Right. Okay.
but I can see it having just hallucinating or incorrect information and
Yes.
seeing like it's very positive and
Maybe
agreeable.
it's sugarcoating
Yeah.
the truth.
Right.
In Darcy, how many times do we ask it maybe, I don't want to say a subjective question, but based off the information in the, the prompt engineering you give it,
Yeah.
it could give something that's not accurate,
Correct.
I think that's just,
And there's like lots of techniques to it. So like one of the techniques that we do that is more expensive in fairness, but I think overall better is like if you go to Claude today or OpenAI, you ask it a question, it's more likely to just like right there give you the answer. And that's coming from what's called its training set, what it's trained on. In Darcy, we default to first looking for external information prior to using its training set. So you'll see if you're a user Darcy, you'll go in there and ask a question. It will do a lot more searching, a lot more lookups, a lot more validation. It takes a little bit longer, more cycles, more expensive, but it comes back with typically a better answer that's more well thought out. And that's sort of the differences in the same, very similar, if not the same model, different application of it
Sure. And similarly, I mean, could we design or have we designed two LLMs to independently come up with an answer
Yeah.
and compare the two and have a third broker
Yeah,
decide?
it's called LLM as judge.
Yeah.
Where you have two LLMs compete against each other, where one gives you an answer and the other's supposed to say you're full of shit.
And if they disagree, maybe
Then it's a failure.
a broker can
Yeah.
go decide to try again.
I wonder, we didn't choose it, but there was an accounting software that one of their selling points was like, we've already pre-trained the AI, it was like to research accounting codification,
Oh.
things like that, like dig in. So they pre-trained it based on, like, if I'm going to look up revenue recognition, it already had 606 in there, ready to go, verified information. I was like, that's pretty cool. Not worth what you're trying to charge for it, but I
Right.
thought that was
I
interesting.
also doubt it's training.
No, that's certainly not. But it is a nice prompt. It's
Yeah, right? Yeah.
a very expensive prompt.
Yeah.
So I guess last week, I think you guys, or last month, I keep saying week, you guys talked about how the two LLMs were communicating, debating, and they came up with a religion. So in that judge, you said you called it
LLM as judge.
LLM as judge.
Yeah.
So is there a case where they won't agree?
Yeah.
Okay. And then
Yeah. So usually you use this pattern for doing an evaluation, right? So instead of like, let's say I'm having Claude spit out a bunch of things and you'd review it.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a second LLM, different LLM, not Claude itself again, like Gemini, review it. And if it finds a no, then that's the first thing you look at, right? Because now there's a disagreement in even the training set of how these two models are working. Now there's also various degrees where like maybe both judges will be agreeable, but the nuance as to how they're agreeable doesn't make a lot of sense. It's like, well, I don't really fully agree, but it's good enough type of a situation, right? So there's other patterns you have to build in that even two LLMs competing against each other won't satisfy.
Yeah.
There's a whole evaluation frameworks, a number of frameworks built around this problem.
Got it. Yeah, because I think some of our customer engagements too, like they want to get to a specific outcome and they need to have accuracy.
Yeah.
Right. So you're probably taking the same type of approach to
Yeah.
working through to get them there.
Or like in accounting, you should ask, what's your needle in a haystack test? So basically, if you have a lot of data, like financial data, that it's pumping through, a needle in a haystack means like the LLM has to find a very particular line item on a contract or something, right? And it's
Yeah.
like nestled in there somewhere. And what's its ability to go and find that particular piece of data and pull it back correctly each time? Needle in the haystack.
Oh.
And so it's a whole entire evaluation framework where you can say, okay, if I shove in a 300-page finance document, I'm making it up, right? Like, how often is it coming back with the right information? Different models behave differently.
That's interesting. I want to test that.
Cool.
Evals are not that sexy, but they are pretty. They're very cool. Lots of colors.
Colors. What about Amazon's Mechanical Turk? AWS for a long time has had this concept of using humans to do the work of machines. It was easier to use a human.
Hey, data labeling.
Yeah, and so I would imagine, are they still around? Does Mechanical
Yeah.
Turk still exist?
Oh, yeah.
Are there still use cases where a human is more efficient than an LLM?
100%. One of the biggest scarcities right now is high-quality human-generated data.
And so they're using Mechanical Turk to hire humans to go generate data
Yeah.
or evaluate
There's
data?
entire companies, like hidden companies,
Yeah.
that are sourced then OpenAI and Anthropic spend billions of dollars with to simply outsource human data labeling. Because human labeling is still the best, purest form of labeling that they can give to them. And it's a huge scarcity.
Cool.
Interesting.
So a whole business model there just for that. Just
Well,
saying.
A lot of jobs out there then.
Oh, yeah. If you want to label for
Yeah.
a living. That
Yeah.
hot dog, no hot dog.
Well, this was fun.
Yeah.
I want to do some fun before we leave.
Okay.
I'd like to know, everyone, the last personal question you asked an LLM and which LLM you used.
Oh, boy.
Something with flying, I'm sure.
No, it was not. I needed a recipe for dinner, and I needed to tell it all the things that we've already had that week. And I wanted it to be made within 40 minutes, including prep time. And I needed to not use exotic ingredients I couldn't get at Wegmans and order via Instacart. And I gave it all these conditions, and it came back with like 3 recipes. I picked one, and everybody liked it. It was amazing. Even
What LLM did you use?
I used Gemini.
What was the dinner?
I actually don't know how to describe it. It was definitely pork.
This is what I want to
Hey,
know.
how to
describe it.
All right, so pork.
It had no
I
name.
think
It had
was
no
a-
name.
I think it was a pork schnitzel with some other hunter sauce or something, a zesty hunter sauce. Yeah, it
Wow.
was quite good.
What about you, Trev?
So I'm colorblind, red-green. And as a result of that, it's a struggle for me sometimes to find right clothing. So I itemize all my clothes into a vector database. And then I have, when I want a particular color scheme that I don't know how to match that well, I will point my personal LLM with the vectors and say, hey, I got this sport coat up my wardrobe. What goes well with it? Then the hard part is like finding if that piece of article clothing is clean or not, or if they could do laundry or something.
You should just text Evan, man. He
Yeah.
knows all this stuff.
Just catalog everything.
Yeah.
It's like the human
Like someone told me this is purple. I thought this was maroon.
purplish.
It's
Purplish.
purple.
Purplish maroon.
That's not
I feel
fair.
like maroon would be more red.
Nice.
Yeah.
Little hint.
I don't know this.
I can't wait to hear yours.
Yeah. What's yours?
I guess it's not really, I don't know, maybe it's a question, but we're in the midst of planning for the cheer season. I coach my daughter's rec team. So there's about 30 girls every year. So we start early. Actually, we never ended. Season ended. We have coaches meetings all the time. We're going through, how can we fundraise for the parents? We're getting new uniforms this year. I'm trying to do some conditioning work with the girls. It's 3rd through 6th graders. So young set of girls, but they also need to be able to lift other girls in the air. They need to have some sort of strength. So I put in there, I used Darcy, and I asked it to put together a conditioning and warm-up plan for girls ages 7 to 12-ish. It can only take 20 minutes, and each exercise needs like multiple reps, basically. So that was the prompt. I got out a pretty decent one. I tweaked it a little bit, just knowing a lot of these girls already. But there's some push-ups in there. There's some laps around the track. Like, it was a really nice, pretty well thought out training program.
Cool.
Amazing.
So I'm going to use it.
That's
Good.
awesome.
What you have?
I just vacation planning. I'm going to Greece this summer, and I asked Darcy.
Where should I stay?
What's that?
He's going to stay with family.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
No. I just asked it some different touristy places to go, so it was pretty impressive what it came up with. Because I used the meeting. I recorded the meeting that I had with my cousin, like we were going, and I put it in the chat and had it summarized and add some stuff. So it's pretty cool.
So what's the answer? Where are you going?
Manavasia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
Have you?
No.
Corinth and
It's
Manavasia.
real, right? It's not
Yeah, it's real.
hallucination.
Yeah.
It's a real
We're
place.
excited though. It'll be a good trip.
I've been to the Peloponnese. That's beautiful.
Nice.
He flew there.
Cool. I know we're a little bit over. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Well done.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.